10 guilty on all charges. 12 men and women delivered that verdict in the Lori Vallow Daybell trial. Tonight, reaction is pouring in.
At least we're closing one chapter today.
I feel elated.
We've also got a look at video showed during the trial in court that the public wasn't able to see until now.
Temperatures are really going to be heating up next week, and we'll talk about maybe a weekend thunderstorm.
Plus, $40 million decision to build a new hospital in Cascade or not. We're breaking down what voters there can expect on an upcoming ballot. The News at 10 starts now.
JJ, we will rock you.
Well, that was the scene outside of the courthouse as the crowd chanted JJ's favorite song just moments after Lori Vallow Daybell was found guilty on charges of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and grand theft in the deaths of her two kids, JJ and Tylee, and her husband's late wife, Tammy. Good evening, I'm Shira Matsuzawa. Thank you for joining us here on the News at 10. Dozens of people waited inside and outside of the Ada County Courthouse for that verdict today, myself included, and our Morgan Romero walks us through what unfolded.
Lori Vallow Daybell is convicted of murder. A 12-person jury unanimously decided she was guilty a little before 1 p.m. Friday afternoon after about 7 hours of deliberation. This comes after nearly 6 weeks of trial, with jurors hearing from about 60 witnesses and seeing gruesome and at times complex and uncomfortable evidence. The judge told people inside the courtroom Friday not to react loudly when that verdict was read, but outside the courthouse, it was a different story.
The defendant would please rise.
We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn to try the above entitled action for our verdict, unanimously answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Question number 1. In regards to count 1 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan. Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of grand theft? Answer, guilty.
Life sentence, Lori. Yeah.
The verdict came down quickly. Jurors started deliberating around 2 p.m. Thursday after closing arguments from both sides and went for more than 4 hours on Thursday night. They deliberated for only about 3 hours Friday morning. The jury decided what the facts are based on the evidence presented, including witness testimony, and applied it to Idaho law. They determined the state proved beyond a reasonable doubt all the crimes happened. To be found guilty of first-degree murder in Idaho, the jury did not have to believe Lori physically killed Tylee, JJ, or Tammy, just that she told someone or encouraged someone to kill them. During closing arguments Thursday, the prosecution said the evidence is clear that Lori was involved. Many onlookers cheered once all 6 guilty counts were read. Some even cried. Rhonda Shields was one of them.
I think because I'm a mom, and I'm emotional anyways, but I just think there was so much question and so much circumstantial evidence, and we didn't know for sure whether she was going to be found guilty. So I think when she did, on all counts, it just was overwhelming, and I think it just kind of came out my eyes, and then watching the grandparents and listening to them and their gratitude, and it's been long and ugly, and it just is a beautiful thing to see justice actually being served.
Prosecutors won't go on camera because of Chad Daybell's trial next year, but they said in a statement they're committed to pursuing justice for the victims. Madison and Fremont County prosecutors said, quote, "We are very pleased with the jury's verdict and we want to thank them, as well as the alternates for their service over the last 6 weeks during this trial." They also thanked countless law enforcement and community members who worked tirelessly to hold Lori accountable. The judge decided to hold Vallow's trial here in Ada County because there were better chances of getting a fair and impartial jury. So while Vallow has been here, she will be transported back to Fremont County where the crimes occurred within the week. Her sentencing will also take place in Fremont County in 3 months. She could spend the rest of her life behind bars. Reporting in Boise, Morgan Romero, Idaho's News Channel 7.
For the families, though, who have been waiting for justice, this verdict has been a long time coming. Moments after the verdict was read, JJ's grandparents, Kay and Larry Woodcock, came out of the courthouse and talked with the media. JJ and Tylee went missing in September of 2019, and it was JJ's grandparents right there who sounded the alarm when they couldn't get a hold of JJ. And they asked for a welfare check. So today was a big day for them. They embraced one another as that verdict was read. And Larry said he told Kay he loved her when he heard that guilty verdict. Now, I also talked with Tylee's aunt, Annie Cushing, and I asked her if she had a message for Lori. Hear what she had to say, as well as the Woodcocks after that verdict came down.
I don't. I've thought through, like, if there's anything I would want to say to her. It would fall on deaf ears. You know, she's a psychopath. She has no concern whatsoever about the pain and suffering she's caused other people.
My final message to Lori. Y'all ready? Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Lori, it ended.
We are elated with this. There was some doubt we would get all of them, all guilties, but we did it. The prosecution is amazing. The law enforcement is amazing. They became our family, and we're keeping most of them for the rest of our life.
Now, I've spoken with Annie several times over the years when the kids first went missing and then when their remains were later found, but she actually stopped talking publicly a couple of years ago until today. Both Kay and Larry, as well as Annie, say while they're happy about today's verdict, it's bittersweet because it doesn't bring back JJ or Tylee. And Lori Vallow's family also released a statement after today's verdict. They said, in part, "We fully accept the determined decision in our justice system, and we understand this is just one step towards justice for the beloved victims in this case. Despite today's verdict, we are left with our grief and sorrow over the loss of Tylee and JJ, who are irreplaceable. Our family will always feel this loss and will never be the same. We will continue to honor their memories to the best of our ability." And many of you were watching Dateline NBC special on the trial for Lori Vallow right here before us here on the news at 10. And the 2-hour special took us through Lori's life, the murders, and the guilty verdict handed down today. And we were watching along with many of you as that special unveiled material that was shown to jurors in court, but maybe haven't been made public or available to the public just yet. And one thing is from Hawaii, when police first served Lori Vallow court documents when the search was on for the kids who were missing at the time.
Do you need something?
Any questions?
You have any questions for that?
No? Okay.
And that was that video from Hawaii. You can read much more about this right now at KTVB.com. And as always, keep it right here on News Channel 7 for the latest on this case, for in-depth reports, reaction from JJ and Tylee's family, and to listen to the full verdict, just head on over to KTVB.com. An update now, the Ada County Coroner's Office released the name of the man who died after he was hit by a car. 66-year-old Jeffrey Garrett of Boise was near Rhodes Skate Park on 16th and Front Streets in downtown Boise when he was hit by a car on May 1st. He was taken to St. Alphonsus, where he later died. In Ontario, police are looking for a person involved in a hit-and-run crash. This happened last night. They say the driver left the scene without stopping. The victim was life-flighted to an area hospital. The driver is described as tall with a slender build. possibly in his mid to late 20s. The car involved is described as an older white extended cab pickup truck with a flatbed and woodside racks. Anyone with information is asked to call the Malheur County Sheriff's Office at 541-473-5125. Well, still ahead here on the news at 10, voters in Valley County will soon have a $40 million decision on their upcoming ballot. We'll explain. Plus, goat heads. They can prick you, they can be annoying, but new Boise State researchers are working on a project to get rid of goat heads here in Boise.
At our Futurecast, which is on Sunday, it's set here showing some showers moving into the area during the day on Sunday, even as early as Sunday morning. I'll have more in the forecast coming up.
The second statewide election on the calendar this year is coming up on Tuesday. Voters in parts of Valley County will have a $40 million decision to make to build a new hospital in Cascade or not. The Cascade Medical Center Hospital District is asking for a $40 million bond to build a new hospital to keep up with growing patient numbers. News Channel 7's Jude Binkley has been previewing next week's ballot. And Jude, you spoke with the CEO of Cascade Medical Center about why they say this new hospital is so needed.
Well, sure, the Cascade Medical Center Hospital District is one of 2 hospital districts in Valley County. Their current hospital is 50 years old, and as it's aged, the community has also grown with bigger needs. Cascade Medical Center is looking to replace that old hospital, which sees about 1,700 emergency patients per year. It's a 1,200 square foot building, and they say they've grown to the point where they need more than double that to handle the number of patients they see today. So they're looking to build a replacement hospital about a mile north of the old one on 8 acres of land with extra land where they could expand in the future. This new hospital would have more space to meet growing demands, parking, a circulation road for EMS traffic, and space for a helipad, which they say is very important in rural areas like Cascade. The Cascade Medical Center tried a similar bond last year, but it failed with 57% of voter support. But the hospital says they're trying again this year because their needs are only growing.
We're still out of space. We're more out of space now than we were a year ago because we've had growing patient volumes. It's never a good time to ask for a tax increase. I totally get that, but it doesn't change the fact that this community still deserves a state-of-the-art hospital that meets the current standard of care.
Now, they also say that this bond doesn't just affect Cascade because as Valley County and the rest of the state grows, that area is a very popular destination for tourists because of their forests and lakes. And the summer season is the hospital's busiest time of year. Now, this bond would be paid for by a property tax. It would cost about $93 per $100,000 of taxable assessed property value per year. Now, a 2/3 supermajority is required for this bond to pass. And sure, we have more information about this bond and everything else that's on the May 16th ballot in our voter guide at KTVB.com.
Very interesting. All right, thanks for breaking that down for us, Jude. Well, the country's biggest food drive kicks off tomorrow. That's the Stamp Out Hunger food drive hosted by the National Association of Letter Carriers. Here in Idaho, your donations will benefit the Idaho Food Bank and its partner pantries across the state, including the Meridian Food Bank. It's really simple to participate. Fill a bag with non-perishable food and put it next to your mailbox tomorrow. Your mail carrier will come and pick it up. It's that simple. Some of the most needed items are whole grain pasta and cereal, low sodium canned vegetables, fruit canned in juice, dry or canned beans, and pantry staples such as flour, baking soda, and cooking oils. And if you're looking for a way to give back this weekend, volunteers are needed to help clean up trash at the north rim of the Snake River Canyon with the Bureau of Land Management. Volunteers are asked to bring rakes and square-end shovels, dress in layers, wear sturdy shoes, and bring gloves. You will meet at the Snake River Canyon Park kiosk area along Golf Course Road in Jerome, and it all starts at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Well, a new map will soon give us a new way to look at Boise, but through the lens of tracking an invasive species. Yep, goat heads lined several trails in and around the city of trees, and the puncture vine is well known for popping bike tires. Researchers at Boise State University have been tracking goat heads locations with GPS for 3 years, and for the sake of pet paws, bike tires, and protecting our native ecosystems, well, they say this data can help get rid of the weed entirely.
I'm hoping that in collaboration with Goat Head Fest and with the enthusiasm and energy of volunteer weed warriors in the city of Boise, we can really improve bicycling life for everyone across the city.
BSU says the map detailing their findings is funded by the city of Boise. It will be available early next month.
From News Channel 7, time for 7 First Alert weather.
Well, to begin with, let's look at the high temperature for this afternoon. Not quite 80 degrees. And I don't think we're going to hit 80 this weekend, but we're going to get close. And Sunday may even cool just a little bit, but next week it's a different story. As it dries out, not that we're going to get a lot of rain or thunderstorms, but just a little unsettled weather will kind of keep the temperatures down. If you look even for this time of the evening, we're at 67, so we're starting to drop off for tonight, but we still have those temperatures that are in the 60s. Some areas have dropped down into the 50s so far. Now, this is the latest satellite picture, shows us the clear skies for tonight. Like to say that on a Friday just before a Saturday, but as you notice here out to the east, there's still a little bit of moisture. That doesn't look like there's much concern, but it's all a part of a larger area of moisture here over the Dakotas that's starting to push back just a little bit toward Wyoming. As it does, we could be on the western flanks of that as that pulls through. So that could be later Saturday night and early Sunday. Now, there were just slight chances at the beginning of the week, but later models are showing just a little better chances of that. And right now, the storm systems out here to the west continue to weaken as they try to send up warm air from the south. They're eventually going to do that as we get into next week. So when you look at the futurecast, let's kind of chart when the moisture is basically expected. You see the clouds coming in and a few light showers. That's later Saturday evening. So that's tomorrow night. Then look here to the south. Not that anything hits Boise, but it could. There's some moisture through there towards Sunday morning. Watch how it shifts as that low shifts to the east and brings up a possibility of a couple of thunderstorms up around the area later Sunday afternoon. Now with this, as we begin with some rain, Saturday not expecting really a whole lot. As you look at this, Boise's up to about 1/100 of an inch by later tomorrow evening. By the time you get up on Sunday morning, we may have about 7/100 to 10/100 of an inch of rain. And then later with the thunderstorms in the afternoon, depending on if we get a thunderstorm, you could see how it could get close to 1/4 of an inch in some spots. But I think it's a little higher here in Boise just because we're near the foothills. Not that the entire city is going to be getting that much, but we wait and see it. Some of those changes coming up on the weekend. So for now, here's the low temperatures for tonight and the highs for your Saturday. Highs will be getting up into the 60s. As we move into the Central Mountains, temperatures will be lower to mid 60s. And as we look at McCall, we've got pretty much the same thing. Temperatures that could get as high as 67 degrees, which happens to be the current temperature in Boise right now. As you look at temperatures down through the valley locations, we get pretty close to 80 to the west end. And here to Boise, Meridian, temperatures will be somewhere into the upper 70s. So the chance of the thunderstorm Sunday afternoon is more than likely from, say, Caldwell eastward. After that, it dries up. And as you look at Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, look how those temperatures heat up. And in the 10-day temperature trend, we show you that the temperatures heat up, but they do have a chance of coming down a little as we get back toward the end of next week. Now, looking at the forecast also for the Magic Valley, temperatures come up, pretty much dry conditions. Some thunderstorms are possible on Sunday afternoon there. In the mountains for McCall, not so much. Central Mountains for Sun Valley, you could see a thunder shower on Sunday afternoon. There's your temperatures in the 70s. Hey, have a good weekend. It's here.
Well, here's a question for you. Are you looking for a job? Well, the Idaho Department of Labor is hosting a job fair in Meridian at the Galaxy Event Center in the Wahoo's Family Fun Zone. It's happening tomorrow from 11 to 2. Organizers say last year more than 300 people and 30-plus businesses were involved. Here's the thing. The job fair is open to anyone 14 to 24 years old. Well, have you ever wanted to race against a police officer? Well, if you're over the age of 16, you'll have to keep hoping. But if you're under 16, you have that opportunity tomorrow. From 11 to 1 on Saturday, you can race against Boise police officers at the Eagle BMX Park located on Horseshoe Bend Road. And this is open to kids ages 9 to 16. Well, coming up next in sports, we're talking softball, BSU, NNU, and high school softball. Sports Director Jay Tuss and Brady Frederick are tracking the busy day on the field. They're up next. Stay with us.
The Idaho Steelheads were back in action tonight.
Idaho had a chance to take a commanding 3-0 lead in their second-round matchup with Allen.
This one could not have started better for the Steelies. Less than 90 seconds in, Colton Keller takes a giveaway, gets on the breakaway, and then finds the back of the net to make it 1-0 in favor of Idaho. On to the second period. Following a multi-goal game on Wednesday, Ryan Domowski continued his stellar play this evening. He gets another goal right here. In the end, though, the Americans explode for 7 goals themselves. They take game 3 with ease. This means we will now have hockey to watch on Saturday and Sunday here in Boise. Well, following a loss in their first ever appearance at the Mountain West Tournament yesterday, the Boise State softball team was in winner go home mode today. First up, Nevada. The Broncos trailing 2-0 in the 5th as we go to the highlights. Autumn Bennett plates a pair with a missile into center field. That tied the game at 2. The Wolfpack would retake the lead in the top of the 7th. But in the home half of the inning, how about Eagle High alumna Sydney Groves? She hits a 2-strike, 2-out solo bomb to the opposite field. That tied the game up at 3 and forced extra innings.
In the bottom of the 8th, Aaliyah Flores would embrace the role of the hero. The 6th-year senior brings home the game-winning run. The Broncos survive and advance 4-3 as the final.
What a game. Now, they would have barely any time to rest up, turn around, and play once again. Boise State taking on San Jose State in another elimination game. The Spartans beat the Broncos yesterday, trailing 2-0 in the 4th. That's Aaliyah Flores again. She singles into center field. We're knotted up at 2. The next batter, her younger sis, Alicia Flores, with 2 on, sends a 3-run home run over the wall and left. That is until San Jose State left fielder Aubrey Thomas brings it back. She robs the go-ahead home run and ends BSU's dreams of winning a Mountain West Conference tournament title. The Broncos are eliminated with a 2-1 loss, and now they will hold their breaths and hope they get an at-large bid to compete at the NCAA tournament.
Well, back at home, CUNA and Capital would battle it out for the 5A District 3 championship today. The Eagles with a strong start. They go for the double steal, and it pays off. Audrey McKibben beats the throw to the plate. Capital would run that play twice, successful on both attempts. They get out of the inning with a 2-0 lead, but CUNA would strike back. Riley Magnum steps into the box. Runners on first and second, full count even, and she gets all of this one into right center. That ball is gone, a 3-run shot, and suddenly it feels like CUNA has all of the momentum. Well, we're going to jump ahead to the 5th inning. Still anybody's title, tied up at 4-4. Senior Brylan Field takes the first pitch of the frame on a ride straight away to center. They send another one out of the park. CUNA would add 3 more runs to take this game 8-4. After the game and following a brief interruption, Brylan walked us through how it feels to be a district champion.
Time out! I have my phone! We came out and we showed up. We showed them who CUNA was. We've been the underdog for so long, and we were tired of being the underdog. We came out and we waited for so long, and this was our moment. We have been waiting for this moment for forever. We've been talking about it since day one about what we needed to do to get here, and when it came, we picked it up, and our pitchers, our defense, we have an amazing team and an amazing season, and we worked together and got along.
What a big victory for CUNA there as they're headed on to the state tournament. Let's head on over to the 1A D1 ranks. Glens Ferry sporting some awesome unis, might I add, taking on Vision Charter in the Western Idaho Conference Championship.
Glens Ferry leading in the 3rd. Lakin Wilson steps into the box with a man on 3rd. He connects, sends it into shallow center field. That brings Isaac Bay to the plate safely, tying the game up at 3-3. Later on, Lakin makes his way over to 3rd base. He's going to take advantage of a passed ball He gives Vision Charter the lead as he slides into home. Now, this game got started a little late tonight. We're still waiting on that final score, but Vision Charter would lead 4-3 getting out of the third inning.
Got to talk about the NNU softball team really quick. We had highlights of their game a little earlier in the day on the news at 6. They lost their first game of the day. They come back, they win their second game of the day to avoid elimination. They'll play on Championship Saturday tomorrow. Stick around. More News at 10 right after this.
Well, we're celebrating all moms this Mother's Day, even those of the feathered kind. A mother goose in Connecticut is waiting for her eggs to hatch in an odd location right outside of an IHOP, and she's not letting anyone near her or her nest. Even her mate is keeping his distance. An animal rescuer has been checking on the goose daily and even put up caution tape around her. Once the eggs hatch, he's planning on taking them safely to water. All right, that'll do it for us here on the News at 10. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. As always, stay updated on the latest news and weather at KTVB.com. Have a wonderful night and a wonderful rest of the weekend.